Good evening. My name is Eugene Peterson, and I'm chair of the Anne Arundel County Human Relations Commission. The commission recently had has been given additional responsibilities through legislative action by the Anne Arundel County Council. Previously, our charge, in addition to working on making Anne Arundel a place where discrimination is not rampant, was to, through statutory responsibility, investigate any complaints that were lodged with us for housing discrimination. The recent legislation, which was passed by the council, gives us additional responsibility in the areas of public employment and public accommodation discrimination. County employee discrimination will still be handled by the county. And if you go to our webpage by accessing Anne Arundel County Human Relations Commission on your computer, you will find the recent legislation that was passed by the council, which details our new responsibilities. And we also are charged with providing the council and the community with a report on our activities in October. I see Commissioner Apter has joined us. Hi, Mark. And I'll wait a couple of more minutes. I think we're close to having a quorum. I think we need one more for a quorum. Prior to getting that quorum and calling a roll call, I'd like, without exception, to add you have been sent the I believe it was May 20 meeting minutes by Commissioner Ferris, and I'd like to be able to have them adopted tonight. So I would ask that I add before discussion of the meeting with Delegate Bartlett that I will bring to you the proposed meeting, because it hasn't occurred yet, after the roll call acceptance of the May 20 minutes. So that will be added to our agenda. Without any exception? I don't hear any. Okay. And for the record, we called the meeting to order at 6:02, I believe.
Did I miss something? Are we waiting for somebody, or do we don't have?
We're waiting for a quorum so we can accept the minutes. We have
Sorry.
5 commissioners. I believe we need actually, let's see, I think we're 10. We're waiting on a student. That would be 11. I just would feel comfortable if we had one more on before we adopted the minutes. So far in the roll call, we have Commissioner Gaskin, who is in California, but she's with us. Commissioner Havila.
Yes,
Commissioner Apter. Pardon?
Oh, nothing.
Yes.
Oh, nothing. I was thinking you are counting the
Oh,
names.
no, not yet.
I
Not
was
yet.
just.
I understand. And Commissioner Newman. That's who we have so far.
Chairman Peterson, Mary Didoni is.
Oh, okay. Here we are. Mary has come. So we'll go through the
I'm also here.
roll. We'll go.
And
There's
Jaden.
the Commissioner Ferris. We'll go through the roll call now. And you can say President Commissioner Gaskin is here. She muted, but I know she's here. President. Commissioner Avila.
Yes, here. Present.
Okay. Commissioner Ferris.
I'm here.
Okay. Commissioner Apter.
Yes, I'm here.
Commissioner Daydoni.
Present.
And Commissioner Newman.
Present.
Great. Thank you all for attending on a August night. Appreciate it. Wanted to go ahead and ask if you all have received the minutes from the last meeting. The only thing that I think from a technical standpoint is, and I will send this to Commissioner Ferris, is a list of those who were at the last meeting. We should always have a list of those who attended. And so we will do that. Is there a motion to accept the minutes that you received?
I make a motion.
Pardon?
I make a motion. This is David.
Okay, David. Good to see you.
Commissioner
motion to-
Didoni seconds the motion.
And Commissioner Daydoni seconded the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. The minutes have been adopted as with any necessary technical corrections Commissioner Ferris will make. Commissioner Ferris, you have a question?
More of a point of order. So
Okay.
when I nominated or volunteered myself as secretary, we never
Yes.
voted on it.
Pardon?
We never voted on it.
That's correct.
Do we need to?
No.
I don't believe that our statutory responsibilities require that. So
Okay.
you're in.
Well, having been raised in the NAACP, I'm going to suggest we be cautious and do it formally.
Okay.
So I therefore gratefully nominate Jaden Ferris to be our secretary from now until, I don't know, December 31st of 2025.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
We all
Okay, it's been
second.
properly moved and seconded. Any question? Call the question on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? It's unanimous. Congratulations, Commissioner Ferris. You are now formally our secretary. We appreciate you volunteering to do that.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. I'd like to into our agenda. We will have our meeting's not going to be that long tonight. And inform the commission that as a result of the activity we had last year with supporting the wire tapping electronic surveillance carve out of the wiretapping statute in the state of Maryland, that would have allowed testers to tape conversations that they had with prospective renters or buyers to test for any actual discriminatory practices or tendencies in the real estate community. As you all are aware, that legislation, which originated with Senator Sidnor, Baltimore County Senator in the Maryland Senate, passed out of the Senate with a vote, I believe, of about, I think it was 28-11, had a good vote, and it moved over to the House. I had conversations with Delegate Sandy Bartlett's staff, because she is the vice chair of the House Judiciary Committee, and got an email from Delegate Bartlett saying that they were looking at it, that she felt they could iron out any questions they had, and for me to stand by, which I did do. Unfortunately, it was late in the session, and it never got out of the House committee to get a full vote by both the House and the Senate. Having said all that, I believe that we still have strong support for this kind of legislation. The county executive supported it. Commissioner Sorrow supported it in her capacity with the housing development agency in the county, and there were others who had strong support for this. What I'm going to be doing is on September 5th, I will be meeting with Delegate Bartlett. She lives close to my home, and we'll be meeting. And I will be talking to her about and getting a breakdown from her and what happened with the legislation last year. And I will be asking her to connect again with Senator Sidnor, because I know they had some conversations, and see if we can't get both of them to sponsor the legislation, with, again, Senator Sidnor sponsoring it in the Senate, and Delegate Bartlett supporting it and sponsoring it in the House. That's the ask I'm going to make. And I'm pretty excited about sitting down with Delegate Bartlett, who I've known for a long time, and laying out the case for this and seeing if we can't get her to support it. It's pretty critical to get that kind of support in the Maryland legislature, because vice chairs can have an impact on their chairs, and they also can work with the speaker, Delegate Jones, and conversely, Senator Sidnor can work with the President of the Senate, President Ferguson. And usually, if you get that kind of support, it's easier for the legislation to get passed and get to the governor's desk for his signature. So I wanted to let you know that on September 5th, I will be meeting with Delegate Bartlett. Any questions, comments, concerns?
This is Commissioner Dodoni,
Yes.
and I apologize. For some reason, my taskbar was hidden and I can't reach the place to raise my hand, so I'll be raising my voice.
That's okay.
Many of us are involved with what I would call civil rights organizations, and I believe they will be very interested and quite eager to participate, but they will need to be well informed. I don't know what the ethics issues are around in asking any of them to come in, but individually as members of those organizations, I am appropriately concerned that 3 organizations in particular know about this legislation coming up. Is there some way to put it out, an FYI, that we could take directly to these organizations, including possibly a video or having a speaker available to come to some meetings, that would allow the membership of those organizations to be informed about this legislation so they could take the approaches they generally take to advocacy work?
I was heavily involved with working our delegation, both the Senate and the House. I sent out emails to them during the legislative session outlining why this was important legislation to get passed, and the fact that 39 states allow this to happen in the United States, that it wouldn't violate any of the rights that are protected by the wiretapping electronic surveillance statute now in the state of Maryland, and that it would simply be a carve out for this one specific activity, which does not ask questions about interpersonal relationships, interpersonal activities, etc. It simply asks questions related to housing and renting. So, having said all that, I'm available. I can make myself available for that kind of discussion and put together a talking paper on it. And
I think that's exactly what I'm asking for. May I also, out of an abundance of caution, ask that you confirm through the Human Relations Officer, Asha Smith, that this is not in violation of any expectations of the HRC.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Sorrow is on now. You participated, Commissioner Sorrow, last year in supporting, I see your hand is up, in supporting, and Commissioner Michaels will be next, in supporting the wiretapping electronic surveillance legislation. And Commissioner Dodoni brought up a question in terms of, would this violate any ethical responsibilities on the part of any commissioner that would go out and talk about this with other groups? And I wonder if you're prohibited from doing that because you are involved with the county.
Right. No, I don't think that I would be. I would certainly want to talk with Asha Smith to ensure that, from my perspective as part of Arundel Community Development Services, that I was still, presenting the county's position and not going beyond that. As an individual, I certainly am in favor of the legislation. I do not see any ethical issues with members on the board talking with the civil rights organizations that they are part of, or others, to educate about what this bill would do. And, you know, you can always educate without advocating.
Right.
And I think that mostly once people, particularly civil rights organizations, have an understanding of why this carve out is being requested and the, you know, the reason for it and the difficulty that civil rights fair housing testers have not being able to record their conversations. I think that even without overt advocacy, that people whose interests are in civil rights and the support of civil rights are going to conclude that this is a good, you know, a good thing to support. What I was going to say, Chairman Peterson, is that having been at both hearings in the House and the Senate, I was really pleasantly surprised at the support that the bill received in the Senate. And I
Yes.
thought that the House side would be a much easier passage. And so I'm very interested to hear what Sandy Bartlett will have to say about the reason why it didn't make it out of committee. And if it was just a matter of running out of time. I did hear from some legislators last year. They were like, we just did so much on housing. We just couldn't do anymore. And so I'd be interested to see really what the reason was for not getting it out of the House. So I think that'll be illuminating.
Okay, I agree.
I have
Mr.
a suggestion.
Michaels.
Hello?
Yes,
Yep.
Mark, sorry about that. I think
Somebody else on?
Commissioner
Yeah.
Peterson called on my hand. But thank you. And
Go
I
ahead.
apologize for interrupting. Actually, just to follow up on what Lisa said, because now maybe I'm confused. Did this particular bill pass, and we have been assigned this responsibility?
No, it passed through the Senate committee. It went over to the House and it never got out of committee.
Okay, so we are not officially able to do anything, correct?
I think we can provide information, as Commissioner Sorrow was saying. We can educate people on why this would be a good idea. I
Right.
don't think we can go out and
No, that I'm just trying to get it all straight in my head.
Sure.
And I'm going to sort of also add one additional thing, which could be under new business, but the other incident that took place where I think Commissioner Dodone and Commissioner Apter helped the neighborhood. There was a disagreement in the neighborhood, and I remember volunteering to maybe help out. And I think Commissioner Peterson, you said, well, we like to send out people that have had the experience or training. So both for this, if this does eventually happen, the civil rights situation, but also any other things, I'm interested in that we do offer some training either through the state or the county or the commission for someone like myself who's interested in learning more to be able to help with these.
Right. We'll be addressing that.
Yeah.
On
but also
dates for the September training, because that training is exactly the conflict resolution training is exactly the kind of training that
on the 20th, I think it is, right?
Would be required in order to more fully help in those instances, and also to do the work of the commission if we ever had a hearing.
Right. Okay.
We're required to have someone with conflict resolution training to do that. Okay.
Wonderful. That just sort of doing a
Sure.
full there, just making sure. Thank you.
Gotcha. Commissioner,
I don't
Apter?
know where my hand up thing is, but is there someone else?
That's okay. We got you. Go ahead.
All right. I also wanted to recommend that there's a September 10th Council for Cal meeting and at 6 o'clock. And John Sarbanes is going to be the primary speaker and is in advance of his retirement at the end of this session. And I thought that we ought to use that opportunity to proactively explain to the members of Cal, which belong to lots of different civil rights groups, what the reality is of this proposed legislation, and get Congressman Sarbanes to support it openly to his universe of civil rights organizations.
Gotcha. Okay, I would, and I'll, as everyone has asked, I'll check with Director Smith and make sure that I'm not violating any county ethics responsibilities and whatnot, but I'd be happy to come to the September 10th meeting, and I'll talk with Mr. Snowden about this and lay out what happened last year, lay out what the carve out would entail and why it is necessary to get the kind of testing that would give us a fuller picture of any kind of aspects of intended or unintended housing discrimination based upon what renters and realtors say. So I will put this on my schedule. I'll check with Director Smith, and then I'll plan to be at the meeting.
Then I would also suggest that we, before the meeting, contact Sarbanes and or his people and get him to support the concept.
Okay,
as
well. I'll get in touch with the retiring congressman and explain what happened in the last legislative session and see if he would be interested in supporting an effort again this year.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
just in terms of offering myself up, I'm the one who's bringing Sarbanes to the.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I would be only too happy to, just kind of see where he sits on that continuum.
okay.
Either turn it over to you for more details, or
Sure, I'll send you some details on it.
Okay.
And then,
the only thing is, it's not very far away. It's a few weeks away.
I understand. I'll send you. I have the proposed legislation from last year. I had the emails that I sent out last year. I'll send you all of that.
Okay, great.
Okay. Any further?
I found my hand.
Yes.
Way to
Okay.
go, Mary.
So thank you.
Where is it, Mary?
Well, it's just hidden down there. I can see half of a heart, but if I click on that half of a heart, I get a menu that lets me say, raise my hand. So I wasn't clear enough, I believe, in my initial question about to what extent we could be involved. As an individual, I would be involved. And I can even say now I am a member of the Human Relations Commission, so I'm familiar with this, but that is not putting the name of the Human Relations Commission behind this. Can we go so far as saying the Anne Arundel County Human Relations Commission supports this legislation? That's what I'm hoping we can get to.
I believe we took, and I have to go back and look at the minutes, but I believe we discussed it last year, and my memory might serve me correct. I think we did take a position on it that was consistent with the county's position. Am I remembering?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Any commissioner that's available.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think we actually went so far as to encourage other human relations commissions throughout the state to do the same.
Yes, I believe that's correct. So we did take a position last year, and
Yep.
we did encourage other uh, human relations commissions to do the same. And I believe I even sent some information out to them myself, other commissions.
That
So
sounds
we are,
fabulous.
thank you, Commissioner Daydoni. Yes, we are on record as supporting this kind of legislation.
Well, let's get on record again as soon as possible, if we can. And in so doing, we have been bathed in this for a while. We had the opportunity to attend a wonderful video showing at Maryland Hall about 2 years ago, but so many people haven't. I don't know if the link to any of these videos is available, but if it is, it would be a powerful tool. So may I ask that we do some searching for publicly available links, including quite possibly testing the waters? Was that what it was called? And linking to that, so others who don't know about this can be more informed.
Is
Okay.
that the film that came out of the Long Island newspapers research?
I believe it is. Yes. Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And
It's great. It is a bit
okay,
long.
at this point in time, I guess I'm wondering if as Commissioner Daydoni has asked, if we want to take a formal position again, we could take that position now, which I could then report to Delegate Bartlett when I meet with her on September 5th. So is
I
there a
think
motion to?
I would make such a motion, Mark Apter.
Okay, Commissioner Apter has made a motion that we reaffirm our support for the carve out that was proposed last year in the electronic wiretapping electronic surveillance statute to allow for testers to tape conversations. Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it, David Michaels, Commissioner.
Okay, been properly moved and seconded. Call the question. Are there any questions?
I would just want you to know that I'm going to abstain on this because I don't know for sure how far we can go. And I know it's going to pass, so I know my abstention isn't going to influence the vote, but the reason for my abstention is I want an affirmative statement that this will not be in violation of any of our authorities, if we're not violating any of our limitations.
Okay. Call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Abstain.
Opposed?
Oh, sorry.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, 2 abstentions. For in the affirmative.
Does that give us the majority of the members present?
I believe it does.
We have 11 on screen. I think a majority of members present would be 6, but members were not speaking. We can't see your hand or hear you. If you say it out loud, we'll be sure to hear it on the recording. So if you wanted to vote in the affirmative and didn't say so out loud, maybe you could say your name and then your vote.
Okay, then we'll go. I'll call the roll on this one. Commissioner Gaskin?
4.
Okay. Commissioner Michaels?
4.
Commissioner Havila?
4.
Okay. Commissioner Newman?
4.
I believe Commissioner Sorrow.
Aye, 4.
Okay.
Commissioner Peterson, you're not voting. We need you.
Yeah, I will vote for it.
Commissioner Apter votes for it.
Okay. So that gives us the 6, I believe, that we need. And there's 2 abstentions, Commissioner Farris and Commissioner Dadoni, correct?
2 recorded abstentions, no report, Commissioner Clemens or Commissioner Davis.
Pardon?
2 recorded abstentions from Ferris and Didoni, no vote from Clemens or Davis.
From Clemens?
Chanel, I'm so sorry. You're not a commissioner. You just got us.
She's not a commissioner.
Yeah.
So I think we're fine.
We have 6. Yes.
Pardon?
We have 6. We have a
Yes.
majority of those present.
Okay. So now we have the position. I want to make it clear. We have 6 in favor. So I will be able to go to Delegate Bartlett and tell her that we took this vote and are supporting this as we did last year. Okay, I want to thank everybody for this, and we'll move on to our next item, which is, and maybe Chanel, you know more about this. I checked the website and I did not see a link to a complaint form or forms, and also a link to the actual, while the legislation that was passed by the council is on the page, it's not depicted like it is with the fair housing legislation, where they have a link to the legislation and to our procedures, which we would have to have, and then the complaint form. So I'm wondering, Chanel, if you have any, because I was going to ask Director Smith if you have any information for us on where we are in terms of getting our webpage up to speed with the changes that the legislation introduced.
Hi, Commissioner Peterson. Thank you for that question. You know, I don't have a lot of information, so we will have to follow up with Asha Smith. But I do
Okay,
know
we'll
that
follow up with Director Smith.
we definitely will need our OIT department to create the form for us. So I believe that's the next step.
Okay, yeah, I think we have to work with the Office of Law and whatnot to make sure that we get something like that up.
Okay.
So I'll check with Director Smith, and then I guess what I would request of Director Smith would be that we get some kind of status a report that tells us when we believe that this will actually be completed. Because now that we have the responsibility, we have to be able to demonstrate to anybody that would want to file a complaint in terms of public accommodations or employment, that there's a place where they can go and get it to us. So I will follow up on that. Moving along, all of you were polled, and we do have dates for training in September. And the training will entail conflict resolution training from the Department of Justice. And the importance of this training is that with our additional responsibilities, I believe it would be good for more than just one of us to have specific training in conflict resolution. And so I'm hoping that we can get as many commissioners as possible to place both Friday 9th, the 27th of September from 5 to 9, and then Saturday afternoon, the 28th of September from 12 to 4 on their schedules. So I hope you're all putting this on your schedules. You will be mailed
Can you
out.
repeat the dates, please?
Pardon?
Can you repeat the dates, please?
Yes, the dates are Friday, September 27th from 5 to 9, and Saturday, September 28th from 12 to 4. And I'm confirming these dates with all of you commissioners. So everybody now knows those are the dates. And I'm hoping that we can get pretty much a full house for this necessary training. So
Do we know
they're
yet where
gonna-
it's going to be?
pardon?
Do we know yet where the training is going to be?
No, we do not. We're going to work with them because what's going to happen is they're going to work with Director Smith and Chanel to get the location, number of attendees, address to send print materials. So all
Probably
that's
in
gonna
Howard
come.
County though, right?
Pardon?
The training will probably be in Howard County.
Why would it be in Howard County?
Never mind. I may have misthought.
Okay. I guess
Commissioner Peterson,
yes.
the only reason I thought maybe Commissioner Epter mentioned that was because the advertisement that I saw was that it was a co-produced program. And for some reason, I thought they did have a location, but I could also be wrong, in Howard County.
I think that was the state
Previous.
one.
Oh, a statewide, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
We still have
Jay.
to. We still have to get all this other information out to us. But I wanted to make sure everybody knew that we now have the dates.
Okay.
So mark those dates on your calendars, and I'll make sure that we have your addresses, I assume, but I'll make sure that everybody has the addresses of the commissioners so the materials can be sent out, and we'll go from there. But those are the dates of the September training. Any questions? Comments? Okay, I'd like to, without any exception here, highlight some additional information for you. On Monday, August the 26th, the Office of Equity is hosting a panel discussion at the Bush Library in celebration of Women's Equality Day. The event is called Election 2024, What It Means for Women. Director Smith has asked that I ask all commissioners to see if they could come out and share this with your respective communities, if you can. And I think she sent the flyer out. Chanel, has a flyer been sent out?
I got a calendar invite, so I think so.
Okay. So I think the flyer has been sent out to all of you. Check your emails. And I believe it starts at 6 or 6:30 in the evening. But that,
6:30 to 8.
pardon? 6:30?
Yeah.
Okay, it starts at 6:30 at the Bush Library on August 26th. The last item I wanted to bring to your attention is the community college is interested in partnering with the county for a quote coming out day unquote event in October. They would like to host an event with Skylar Bailar as the featured keynote speaker. And I have a link to that, but I will send it out to everybody. Director Smith has been involved with this, and she explained that the county follows state guidelines with respect to the issue of sports, because she wanted to make sure that the event is not specifically geared towards the topic of trans participation, etc., which is important. They said that would not be the focus of the discussion. They are also interested in asking the LGBTQ plus coalition and Annapolis Pride to partner. There may be a small cost contribution towards the speaker. And my question to the commission is, are we interested?
Commissioner Michaels is.
You said Commissioner Michaels?
Yep, Commissioner Michaels.
Okay.
A vote to support.
Okay, there's Commissioner Michaels has made a motion to support, which would mean maybe some small financial support. Is there a second to that motion?
When you say a financial support, I thought we had no money.
No, we do have a budget.
What's the budget now?
Pardon?
How big a budget do we have? $1, $100,000? What?
I'm trying to remember if we sent out information on that. Chanel, you have information on our budget, right?
Yes, we have $5,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we won't, because we've already used some of that budget for, I think, a tabletop and some other stuff. So,
Well, it's a new fiscal year.
pardon?
It's a new fiscal year.
Oh, it's a new fiscal year. So the 5,000 is in the present or this fiscal year.
Yes, it renewed on July 1st.
Okay. So we have $5,000.
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner Daydoni?
I have some questions. Do I hold them until after we've seconded the motion, or do I raise questions now?
We need a second for it.
I therefore second the motion and would like to
Okay.
raise questions when we can.
All right. Call for the question. Go ahead, Commissioner Daydoni.
Okay, not calling the question in the sense of calling the vote, but rather
No.
the questions I had. You had said that it was important about whether it was focused on trans identity in sports. And I wasn't sure if you were saying that we were to not discuss trans identity in sports, that it could be part of a discussion, but for some reasons shouldn't be the totality of the discussion. I'm a little bit lost on that. Could you help me?
Well, there are state guidelines with respect to the issue of sports. That's what the director said. And so she wanted to make sure that the event is not specifically geared towards the topic of trans participation and other areas which I would assume state statute says and guidelines say that we don't support. And they said that would not be the focus of the discussion. I don't have any more information than that.
Thank you. I do not know what the state guidelines say. Jaden, Commissioner Ferris, do you?
That's not where I'm kind of confused what the event is.
The event is the community college is interested in partnering with the county for a coming out day event in October. They would like to host an event with Skylar Bailar as a featured keynote speaker. Do you have any information on that, on her? Commissioner
I don't know.
Ferris?
How do you
Okay.
spell the name?
So at this point in time, as I see it, we have more questions than we have, and we don't have Director Smith here to answer those questions. So what I would propose, and this is in
October, I assume.
October.
Yeah, I looked up who's Skylar Baylor. They're a trans athlete. So I guess that's why there was a concern.
Yeah, I would imagine that's why there was a concern. I guess at this point in time, what I think I would like to suggest is that since this is in October, we can take this up at our regularly scheduled meeting in September. And by that time, we'll have enough information to see whether or not we want to join in support. And we'll also by then know if the county is partnering, because at this point in time, given the information I have, I'm not sure. I think Director Smith is suggesting the county is interested in it, but I guess at this point in time, the question was, is the commission interested? I guess what I'll pose to Director Smith is, we're interested, but we need more information. Would that be a good way to go, commissioners?
Yes.
I
Okay.
can see that.
So, Commissioner Michaels, would you be comfortable with withdrawing your motion?
Yes, I'd be comfortable with trying.
Okay.
Do we need to withdraw it, or can we table it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay, we'll table it.
Yeah. And also maybe by that time too, we're going to find out from Annapolis Pride if they're looking to sponsor. And as you just said, very easily we can find out more on what Skylar Baylor really goes in depth speaking about, so that we
Right.
can inform decisions.
And since I have the link to the email, I'll make sure I send that out.
Wonderful.
And Commissioner Ferris has already looked it up, so it's available on, I guess, on the internet. But I'll send it out anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Want to thank everybody for helping us get through a lot of this information here. I guess the most important thing, going back to the item that I started out with, is we have the dates for the DOJ training, and I'm hoping that you're all marking it down in your calendars. Okay, I'd like to move on and ask Chanel, are there any dates, other information that Director Smith passed on to you for us?
Oh, no, she didn't pass on any information.
Okay, so I'll ask her to send out what other information, if any, that she has. Commissioner Hatcher is not here, so we do not have a report for the Annapolis Human Relations Commission. She's our liaison to them. So at this point in time, we have no other items on the agenda. So I'd ask for and before we adjourn, I'd like to say that we have a September meeting, and it will be the third Thursday in September, as are all of our meetings. And with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn, since we've gone through our agenda.
I may have new business.
Oh, you may have new business. Okay.
Chairman Peterson, all of my fellow commissioners, I apologize. I am 3 days post hip replacement, and it was an awfully painful surgery, and so I am not as lucid as I wish. I cannot recall the two issues I brought to your attention since our last meeting, Chairman Peterson. I do remember one of them, and it was the incidents of the various kinds of hate bias incidents. We used to get monthly reports from Anne Arundel County Public Police. I don't know if we ever got them from Annapolis Police Department, and I think they are available through AACPS as well, broken down by the type of hate bias incident. I think that's important to us, and I'd like to see us get that again.
I have gotten from Deputy Chief, trying to think, Katie, think of her last name, but she used to be over that area. She sent me some data on that very issue in terms of the number of hate bias incidents. I will send that out to the commissioners with the caveat, this cannot be shared outside of the commission. So I will send the information she sent to me, and in September, I wanted to schedule the person who she designated as the police coordinator for collecting this information to explain to us the dramatic decrease, because there was a dramatic decrease in incidents that I saw. And I can't exactly recall, but I didn't see many, if any, that were happening in the schools.
I would welcome someone, maybe us, having a public meeting, and our meetings are public. The public can't speak into our meetings, but these are going to live forever online. I would appreciate someone having a publicly available meeting to inform residents of Anne Arundel County of the different types of categorizations used, the categories used for hate bias incident and crime classifications. In the school system, where they wouldn't be called a crime, they would be called an incident. In the county police, and some of the school system ones may or may not be elevated to the county police, and within Annapolis City, as a basis for understanding more completely the data itself. I understand that data needs to be embargoed while it is verified. I understand that. I would look forward to having these data more regularly in the future.
They collect the data, and we have a link on our webpage to the hate bias information that the police department has. And I'm thinking that you've looked at that data.
I have not looked at it recently.
Okay, well, that report, we're linked to that report. So I'd encourage every commissioner to take a look at that. I think one of the problems with that data is that it has a lag time because they compile it and then they put it together. But I think it's what I got was for the final information that they had through this year, which I will send out to all of you again with the caveat it can't be shared with anybody. And I'll put that in the email. And I will ask the person in charge to come and address those issues that Commissioner Daydoni has suggested that we outline for the public, because I believe in that data that they have that we have linked to on our website, that they do identify what each incident is, as I got in the information that I got. And I'm trying to think if they tell exactly where it occurred. They give the mail not the mail address, but the mail location. They give enough information so that you know where it occurred.
Thank you.
I will make sure that the presentation in September includes that information. And I believe that we've had a presentation like that in the past, but we'll have it again.
These incidents rise and fall, and particularly rise very rapidly. Anti-trans sentiment is one of the three hottest political touch points now. The other two being immigration and abortion. Anti-trans objection is among that cluster, the three hottest issues. And when it happens quickly and verbally violently. We have had 2 trans teachers, well, I'll say both were teachers, although one was a teacher's aide, in Anne Arundel County Public Schools, leave the school system. They will give a variety of reasons. Nonetheless, those reasons include the hate, the death threats, the name calling, the why don't you kill yourself coming in from across the nation. That doesn't mean it's all coming from Anne Arundel County, but it's landing on our educators.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about those kind of complaints. I think the individual has to address it with the appropriate police agencies, and in some cases it could even be traced, I think, through some of the FBI, but that's on the individual. I don't know if there's a whole lot we can do about that, but you're right to suggest that this is something we should take a look at.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Commissioner Sorrow.
I just quickly wanted to share that Asha Smith and I have been working with the Equal Rights Center, the folks that we had do the fair housing testing over last year, and we did the presentation for the Human Relations Commission a couple sessions ago. We're working with them to put together a fair housing outreach and education webinar series. They'll be doing 6 webinars on different fair housing topics. We hope to start them in November and then go monthly into the spring. And so they'll be sponsored by Arundel Community Development Services and the Office of Equity and Human Rights, and hopefully the Human Relations Commission as well. We'll have more details by our next meeting, certainly, but I did want to share with people that that's in the works, just so that you know it's coming down the pike.
Okay, well, maybe at our next meeting we can then become a partner in that. So
right,
we'll bring that up too.
Right, great.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep.
At this point in time, and I want to thank everybody for the robust and good discussion on a lot of important topics. At this point in time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn. It's Lisa Sorrow.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Sorrow. Is there a second?
Mark Apter.
Okay, Commissioner Apter has seconded it. It's a non-debatable motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. And again, we will meet again on before we go to our training, the 3rd Thursday in September. So I want to thank everybody who listened in, and thank the commissioners for continuing the fine effort that they give. And with that, I will say that we are concluded and finished with this Human Relations Commission meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Eugene.
You too.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Have a good night.
Yes.